Welcome. Let's call this meeting to order. We're a minute late. We do have a quorum today. That's good news, right? Welcome, Dustin. Okay, we need to approve minutes for 2 months since we didn't have a quorum. So let's talk about the October minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. September's minutes will be approved. October's minutes. You weren't here. No.
Motion to approve.
Second? Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Y'all are really quiet today. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, minutes approved. So we're going to do two public hearings today, or public hearing today on two items, I guess. Do you want to speak to this, Isaac, or no?
I can speak to it now, or I can wait until, but I think I'll just set it up, and that is, there's two public hearings. The first one is the Downtown Connector Zero Fare recommendation. The second is December service adjustments. In terms of the Downtown Connector, this is an initiative designed to increase ridership, encourage residents and visitors to use public transportation during the holiday season. We have a number of, obviously, events going on in downtown Knoxville with Christmas in the Cities. There's also going to be Smokey's Winter Wonderland Light Show going on at Covenant Hall Park starting December 9th. But this is in response to trying to increase mobility downtown. There's many people going to jobs or parking in parking lots. That's getting them out of their cars onto the Downtown Connector and increase that ridership. That is the gist of the recommendation for the Downtown Connector. In terms of the service modifications, and Umar and his team will go over the Title VI analysis for this, which is in the board packet. We're having ongoing workforce shortages, and we're recommending a service modification for frequency of service on several routes to ensure a consistency and reliability of the service. Right now, we're cutting or suspending certain routes on a weekly basis, and that is not consistent or reliable for our customers. So the following routes will have a reduction in frequency, and that is Route 12, Route 15, Route 17, Route 20, and Route 42. Obviously, the decision or recommendation to implement these reductions was obviously very difficult. Staff and I have met several times to talk about how we can stabilize service, and this is one of the options we have to ensure, again, consistency and reliability. One of the other challenges I talked about last month in making this recommendation is there was a new federal rule that gave us some problems, and that was the non-docimiled driver's license rule, emergency rule that came out for DOT, slowed down our training process. Some of our drivers trying to get CDL learners permits had their permits delayed up to 1 to 3 weeks. We have resolved that problem this week. Our training team has. We have a contact through TDOT, so that is no longer an issue. But we are actively addressing the shortage through improved recruitment. Right now, we have 16 new operators in training with another class scheduled to begin December 1st. That December 1st class looks like we'll have 10 to 20 more people. So as we get fully staffed, we're fully committed to restoring service back to that full service level. So.
I have a question about that. When do we think or estimate of when we might be fully staffed? What's our goal?
I think March or April is probably a pretty good time when we'll be fully staffed.
So that's how long the changes will be until then?
Yeah, and what we're committed to, I talked to the board last month about this, is that as we improve our numbers, we are going to try to add more service back. So some of these reductions, we're going to try to add back.
Okay, so over time?
Yep.
And John has recommended that we hear the Title VI analysis now. So whoever's doing that. Clay, is it
I can
you?
speak to that. I can actually pull it up. So in the slideshow, I'll provide you with essentially the key findings, but if you want the broken down step-by-step methodology, it's in the packet can walk through that too if needed. But I will go to, yeah. So we chose the routes that we did, essentially after coming to the conclusion that these routes would minimize the effects on low-income and minority communities the most. This was based on ridership numbers, demographic numbers. But I do want to sort of drive home the point that there was no perfect scenario from these service modifications where some group would not feel the impact of a service reduction. But what we did find was that the service modifications would have a greater impact on low-income communities, more so than minority communities. Low-income residents, as you see in the slide, make up 18.7% of the Knoxville area transit service area, but account for 43.9% of those populations being impacted by the proposed service changes. Whereas minority passengers will experience a proportionately lower percentage of the service change at 26.3%, despite accounting for 27.6% of the population within the Knoxville area transit service area. And this is also in the packet. It might be a little hard to see, but here is the broken down. Yeah, sorry.
It's also in your packet as
Yeah,
well.
it's in the packet. But this is the Remix Title VI analysis engine that we used with the numbers broken down. Any questions? And I also included some data on the back that breaks it down. It might be helpful for some if you want to know where it, it's in the packet. But we have broken it down by percent change, by census block group, and the corresponding route. But that's in the packet.
And for those commissioners, that's also a separate page that's with the graph there. So it's in your packet, but there's also a bigger version of it. Yeah. Under that. Yeah. That one. Yeah.
Does anyone need some time to review this? We certainly don't want you all to have to digest all this in 30 seconds. So.
Question for me. Can you, somebody on staff, give us a general understanding of which of these routes that are going to go from 30 to 60 minutes? Do you know offhand how many of those were 60 minutes before we did Cat Reimagined? Because I'm curious to know, like in this time span, how much of it would just essentially be, reverting back to the pre-Cat Reimagined system.
So looking at what we have here, of course, the 15 didn't exist. It was part of the 90. Technically, in that configuration, it would have been once an hour. So that is a reversion back to about what it was used to. 12, actually, it was 30 minutes, so that would not, it would actually be something new for those riders in that area. 20, I believe it was 30 as well. So that would be a first for it being out once an hour. Well, except for when we had reduction of service on Sundays where everything was once an hour. And then 42 was an hour, so that's going back to what it was used to. And 17 was an hour on Sundays, but of course it was also a different routing altogether. So this is probably the one that's least impacted because the 11 still goes through there. You're just not going to have 30-minute frequency. You will have once an hour.
Remind me, the 17 is the shorter route, right?
Yes,
the 11 is
yes.
longer. Okay.
It's basically the difference between the two. Instead of using Forest Park and cutting over to Kingston Pike, it would continue out, make the left on the Mohegan, left on Kingston Pike, left on Forest Park. So you're missing 3 to 4 stops, but they're still accessible.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that like about half of these routes, the people on them have at some point in the past dealt with our service before. Okay.
Yes.
I have a question. As a new member and wanting to fully understand the way all this works, so are we working towards a vote of whether to approve or disapprove of this service change? Was that what we're discussing? Okay.
Yes.
And what is the plan? How does that look if we don't approve that? I mean, what options do you guys have? It doesn't seem like you have any, but I'm curious.
In terms of the downtown connector, we're currently charging, so we would remain charging for that. And then for the service modifications, we'd have to continue just cutting service at random, basically, depending on how many people we have that day. So that's what we've been doing, basically, suspending service on certain routes.
And so the hope for this approval is to just have something more concrete and solid instead of random.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
With the random cuts, what's been the biggest impact that you all have seen?
Just not being provide consistent service for customers. Obviously, what is published on the website to the public, we're not able to provide that level of service. And so we're having to make choices on what routes we're going to have to see a reduction in service or be suspended altogether on a weekly and daily basis.
So can I just clarify that? So I think what you said was the service is being cut, it's just not predictable.
Correct.
It's an ad hoc, day-to-day thing, whereas with a plan like this, whether it's this or some other plan, it's at least predictable so people can plan around it.
Correct. We know that we would be, with the service modifications, we know that we will be able to provide that level of service every single day.
So the routes that you all have had to cut, which have those been, just as y'all deciding, how have you guys had to just decide that?
Yeah, so again, on a weekly and a daily basis, depends on what drivers we have and what we're able to field that day. So it could be Route 17, Route 11, Route 31, just could be any routes that we could not fill.
Just don't have the coverage for?
Yep.
But the inconvenient thing is sometimes you may get there, but you may not be able to get home because it may be cut before you get ready to come back. So I've heard that too, and that would really not be good.
Isaac, can and maybe this was discussed last month when I wasn't here. Can you speak to what has caused, or what you think has caused the shortage in the workforce? Is that something that seems to be Knoxville specific, or is this a problem for most transit agencies right now in the U.S.?
It's a problem nationwide. It's been an ongoing issue since COVID for most transit agencies who are having to teeter back and forth between full service and a reduced service model. So that has been an ongoing issue. I think really what hurt us is, again, this new federal rule that caught us off guard with the non-docimiled CDL driver's license. Our learner's permits were being delayed. So we had people in training for a week or 3 weeks that couldn't do anything. So that obviously put us back. But I think it's just, we have to consistently every single month bring in 10 to 20 to 30 people, put them through the class, put them through the CDL learner's permit, and have to retain them. And so that has been that's been the hardest part in the last 5 years.
And I just also want to add that over the past 6 months or to a year, probably a year or more, we've been basically reacting to the manpower shortage. And this decision was made in order to be more proactive about stabilizing our workforce and our routes and our service. So that's what we're facing with.
So what would be the plan to increase the number of drivers that we get on board, especially with being able to have something more stable? What's the new innovative ways that we're looking to get more staff?
So what we have done is one of the programs we've introduced to that is completely legal for us in the state of Tennessee is we've been hiring 24-year-olds to drive CDL drivers. We can actually hire up to 18-year-old CDL drivers. So we're working with 865 academies to try to recruit younger people into this field after they graduate as an alternative. Maybe they don't want to go to college. Maybe they want a career in transit. So that's one of our ways. The other one is that we're having consistent job fairs held at Knoxville Area Transit at the community room We just had one last month, or last week, I should say, and last month. So we're doing that on a regular and consistent basis as well.
You said the idea would be that as the number of available drivers increases, you would add service back. Do you have a concrete plan for if, with every additional however many, and would we have to vote every time that happens?
You would not. We could do it and then come back to you and say, this is what we've done to add service back. Our plan would be basically to add back the frequency on Route 20 would be one of those, Route 17. Those would be the first two priority routes that we would add service back onto.
What about the route that you intend to cut altogether?
That's Route 17, but again, that is being covered by Route 11. So we're essentially suspending it, but it's still being covered by Route 11. It's just the frequency of service is going down from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. That's one of the routes we would bring back as we get fully staffed. One of the first routes.
And if I can, on that Route 17, it only runs Monday through Friday and Sunday. So with us cutting it Monday through Friday for the frequency of the Kingston Pike 11 that runs through the area, it still will run Sundays because of the frequency of the 11 being once an hour there. So it would actually give us a bus there once an hour in conjunction with the 11. So it's sort of cut, but it's only cutting Monday through Friday service for it.
But that's the bulk of the service.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The 11 exists in that same area.
It's primarily reducing that segment that we operate on Sutherland from 15-minute service to 30-minute service along Sutherland, yes.
Isaac, can you, in terms of like driver recruitment again, do you feel, because I can't remember if you've been at other transit agencies, do you feel that what we offer to drivers in terms of like pay and benefits and stuff is competitive, or do you think that maybe is part of the problem?
No, I think we addressed that in the last contract negotiation of, we had a 4% increase to the top out rate, but the first, second, and third years got, anywhere from 15 to 12% increases. So I think we're very, very competitive in that, especially in the state of Tennessee, very, very competitive in that.
Okay.
Especially for, I think where we were lacking was that first year, for sure. We were paying $18.73, we're now paying $21.80. So.
So there was nobody signed up for public hearing, but everybody wants to speak. I'm sorry. Sorry. Anybody want to speak for public hearing? Nobody signed up, but if anybody wants to speak, you're welcome. She did for public comment, not for public hearing. No? Dang. I just knew they were going to talk to us. Okay. Discussion, huh? Which we already had. Oh, okay. Come to the podium, state your name and address, and you got up to 5 minutes. Thank you. The little people, the person. But should turn that red light on. I don't see it. No, I don't think it's working. Talk loud. We're good.
My name is Nathaniel Pfeiffer. I'm the social impact coordinator for the UT Free Store, and I'm standing in for Cash Wynn, who is the University of Tennessee Sustainable Transit person over at UT. And we just have one question to add on to what you had mentioned about benefits, just specifically asking about days of allowed leave for drivers. I think that was something that we had mentioned in a conversation. We're just curious if y'all think about any changes about that.
This is public comment. It's not a question and answer session. Yeah. Yeah.
I can get with you afterwards, though.
He'll tell you. He'll tell you later. Oh, we got one. There you go. There you go. Well, why did you do that now? So, any other comments? Okay, discussion. I think you got some discussion.
Yeah, I think just for me, if we don't have the staffing to keep the current promise that is being made on the website. We're not, only thing that I feel like we're voting on is whether we want this to be random or structured. And there's nothing that we as a board can do to suddenly make more drivers appear.
Dang it.
So I just want to make it clear, that's really the decision that we're being asked to make. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, and I think for me, it's like very clear that like, I almost wish that like in the resolution or whatever, we could say like, we know this sucks, we're sorry. Like, but again, the reality is, because like my route's one of the routes that would see less service.
Yeah.
But again, the reality is like having this foresight to let people know like, hey, it's going to be kind of a crappy few months, but like at least you can, the next 2 to 3 months, know what routes are being reduced. Like to me, that's the more moral thing to do than to just say, have at, you're on your own, right?
Yeah, in my profession, managing expectations and communication is huge. If you walk into a restaurant and they tell you you're going to have to wait an hour to get a table, you're not upset. If they tell you it's going to be 15 minutes and then it's an hour, you're furious. So I would feel like we should empower Kat to have every means necessary to communicate the promises that we can make. And I just want to throw my 2 cents in the hat on that.
Any more discussion? Y'all ready to vote? Yes?
Need a motion?
Yeah, we need a
You wanna
motion.
do
I
it
just
as
wanna say-
combined or do them separately, doesn't matter, however the motion wants to be phrased.
Does it matter? Okay.
Do we want to wait? Do we want to vote now, or do we want to go
Wait, do it down in the
under
bottom.
old business?
I kind of forgot about the fare for the downtown connector. How long is that proposed change for?
6 months.
Yeah,
6 months?
6 months,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So our options are, we can entertain a motion for each separate recommendation and hold a vote on each separate recommendation, or we can do it jointly, however the motion wishes to be phrased.
We want to do it here and rest of it under old business, correct?
We
Doesn't matter.
typically do it at this stage, but we can
Okay.
do it whenever.
That's okay.
I'll make a motion to accept both the fare-free town pilot and the service reductions.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We can discuss again. Y'all want to talk? Anybody got any further discussion?
Isaac, I know you addressed this last month, but just for everyone else, could you reiterate what success looks like for the downtown connector pilot?
Yeah, I think it's getting back to having over 10,000 riders on a monthly basis on the downtown connector. I think we've been averaging around 6 to 6,500, and I think it's getting back to that, above 10,000 riders. I think we all know too that we had the trolleys; they were free. This is kind of a new plan on the downtown connector. Is let's make it free and see how many riders we can attract to this for job access, for festivities that are going on in downtown Knoxville. So that's the goal.
I got some. I'd like to amend this motion to separate them into 2. And as the maker of the motion, you get to tell me if you want to do that or not.
Oh, well, I'm glad you know the rules. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we can split them. I see no problem.
And so,
So I will remake a motion. I will.
Drawing your motion, basically.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my first motion, make a second motion. I will make first the motion to accept the pilot program for the downtown zero fare, downtown connector zero fare.
I second that.
All in favor? Whoa, how many is that? Let's do a hand raise on this one. Well, that looks pretty unanimous. Okay, I think that one carries. And do we have a motion on the next one?
I'll also make a motion to accept the service adjustments, again noting that this is unfortunate, but, with the full assurance that, it's going to be a sad few months, but after a few months, we'll get back to it. But that it's a motion not being made happily. But as Zach said, it's, it is better to have controlled chaos than random chaos. So.
Second?
I have one more thing I wanted to see if we can have, if possible, just to be able to have some structure on how we will introduce these routes back, having some type of plan or an idea of what that would look like. So if we have so many drivers that come aboard, then we can add back the 17, and then another set of drivers to add back the next one. Is that something that we can add in there?
Yeah, we can obviously provide a plan to you guys next month, in the month of December, and you guys can vote on that. Yeah.
So the new motion becomes that we move to accept these adjustments with the understanding that we make a phased addition once the workforce is stabilized.
Question about job fairs. Like, on average, how many are you doing a month?
So Bethany may be able to answer this better. I know that we're hosting one on a monthly basis. I know that we're also attending job fairs as well. I know that our maintenance department is at a job fair today that the city is hosting. So I know we're out in the community as well, not just hosting our own, but attending other job fairs.
One thing I just want to make a comment in terms of the plan to bring back service. Although that sounds doable in a sense practically, however, the challenge that we don't want to face is a continuation of manpower issues beyond March or May, and it causes us, let's say we bring service, we added 10 more drivers, so we're gonna bring back to 17, or we're gonna bring back to 20, and then 2 months down the line, our numbers start dipping again. Do we wanna go backwards again? We wanna bring it and then go back. So that's just one of the challenges of creating a plan. I'm in favor of us stabilizing our manpower and being sure that we can bring back all that service at one time. But I'm open to whatever we as management can agree on. I just want to make that point in terms of, we don't want to play the seesaw back and forth.
I think what we can do, though, is say, if we have this many operators, we can add this much service. And I think that's what the plan has to be. It has to be a number we feel comfortable with. Okay, now we're going to add more service. We have so many operators, we can add more service.
And I don't know if you can make a specific promise regarding the route. I would just ask that you consider the Title VI analyses when determining which ones to add back first.
Yep.
And I also would assume, to Mr. Tennessee's point, that, you bring on new operators and you need to see that stability maybe for X number of weeks or months. So it would be helpful just to have that discussion, I think, next month to get a little more insight into what that looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me clarify the motion. I don't think having fuzzy motions are really helpful. These folks have to go to work and deal with concrete things. So the motion is to approve the service reduction. There was I don't know if it was a formal rider or a suggestion that we see some type of statement of prioritization as we are able to bring more operators on. So we have the motion.
And I would like to formalize that as an amendment to the motion,
Okay.
that stabilization part.
So, Mr. Thorne, have you indicated, I want to have some understanding of what that is. I heard you to say that CAT could bring a prioritization, I don't know if it's certainly not a schedule, but just an order of priority in which routes would be returned.
We can, and I think too, and I can work with staff on this, is that if we have so many operators, we can also bring back this service under that prioritized plan.
Okay.
I think that's possible.
It's not a schedule, it's just a statement of the priority in
Yep.
which, okay, do we have that understanding okay. All right, so let me see if I can restate the motion. That there's a motion to approve the adjustment to the noted routes, conditioned upon next monthly meeting, staff will bring a statement identifying the priority in which these routes will be returned to full service, not a schedule, but a statement of prioritization. Does everybody understand that to be the motion? All right. That good? I think we're waiting for a second.
Second.
pretty much what he already told us what he's gonna do. He already said what he was gonna do. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by saying aye, or raise your hand. All opposed? Ayes have it. I don't have a report, and I believe, we have any commissioner comments? No? Wow, they already commented out, I guess. They're tired, they're exhausted now. They're all tired, it's okay. Staff reports.
Yep, I
Mr.
just
Thor.
have just two announcements. We will not be operating service on Thursday, November 27th for Thanksgiving. Hope everybody, all of our employees enjoyed time with family. And then on Friday, the next day, we'll be running a Sunday service schedule. That's my only two updates. Doug, do you have anything?
Mr. Burton.
I don't have a ton. I did want to apologize for not being here last month. I did not move it on my calendar, so I still had it as the fourth Thursday and not, it was a little earlier that month. And
We've
then,
been bored because we didn't have a forum.
and then I sit similarly, as a technical kind of advisor here, I sit similarly on boards at CAC and ETHRA, and I will tell you they have driver issues also, so it's all over the place. And getting through the driver process is not easy. I think they have to maintain the US DOT physical, where you can't have like restless leg medicine, or your blood pressure has to be. So it's tough to get drivers. So I was just going to add that in to let you know. I think it's going on all over the place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any new business?
We don't have any new business, and we have already voted on the old business.
We have. Killing it. Public comments. Miss Boer, you are ready to go. You're signed up. You're turned on and good to go. It looks like the light's on.
Thank you. Is that on? Yeah.
Yes.
Sandra Boer, 3030 Holbrook Drive, 37918. And I was here in September talking about a stop on Route 22 that was dangerous. And I just came back. Well, I've got two things. First, I'd like to compliment the drivers. They have a hard job. And I know that they, especially with all the wheelchairs that get on and they have to stop and do all that. And I've never met a driver I didn't like, so I just want you all to know that the drivers are really trained well and good people. And the other thing is that the 22 stop at Adair has been moved back to where it was, and I can safely get to Food City now, and I want to thank you all for that. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else want to speak, public comment that's here? That's not signed up? Dang, y'all quite a bunch today. Okay, I guess we get to set our next meeting for December 18th. Bring presents, I guess. That's close to Christmas, and a motion to adjourn.